Tree climbing can be a very stressful job. What we want to do is try to relieve that stress in any way we can by developing techniques that help us to efficiently do our job so that we aren't going to get tired quickly in the trees. We don't want to have to be struggling with any part of our gear or equipment to try to do the job. So that's one reason why I have developed this new flip line here, is to relieve a lot of stress, because I had a lot of problems with my flip line when I first started climbing trees. I was climbing lots of pine trees and getting knots of pitch on my rope where my adjusting knot would not want to slide past that ball of pitch. It was very stressful because I could be in a position where I wanted to put my flip line around and put some slack into my flip line, but I wasn't able to because it was locked onto a ball of pitch. Well, this slipper knot here that I have invented and applied to my flip line has worked excellent for this purpose of adjusting up the slack on your flip line or taking out the slack. It doesn't take a lot of hard jerking to adjust this flip line, and when you're sliding the slack up through here, it moves quite effortlessly except when you get pitch on there, you will be able to easily get the knot to slide past there by taking the tension off of your climbing line, as I have done here, and pushing slack through the bottom of this knot to loosen it. And you can twist it and just get it right past any ball of pitch or whatever might be hard to get past there. Anyway, you can see how I have this long tail of my flip line. I have it put through the two side D-rings on my belt. That keeps it away from my saw side of my belt so that it's not dangling right around my saw. That is something you want to keep track of, is where all your loose ends of your rope are, so that when you're using your saw in the tree, that you're not going to accidentally cut your rope in any way. But as you can see here, this knot slides out really nice. You can make small adjustments, and you don't have to be right up on this knot to let the slack out. You can be leaning way out from it and pull it just a little bit if you need to reach out just a little bit farther. But as you can see here, it's very easy to slide up and back. So using a fat line for the main line and a smaller line to tie the knot with has worked very good for me. I've done it both ways by using the same size of line for the main flip line, and I've also used the big way like this. Many different combinations. This knot works very nice with just about any combination you can put together. But anyway, you can see that it's very easy. Just push up on the bottom of the knot, just like that. It adjusts very quickly and nicely. You don't have to mess with a knot. Many people use that knot that you adjust on your D-ring back here. Well, that takes both hands every time you want to adjust your rope. So you have to quit whatever you're doing, and if you're leaning way back and you need to put some slack into your line to reach out just a little bit farther, you've got to come back up to your thing, take the tension off, and adjust your rope. That can be very stressful and time consuming. So as you can see here, this is very simple one-handed operation for extending your line, and very simple two-hand operation for adjusting back up. And I keep this line going through here. I like to keep my slack right straight by past my snap here and out the other side of my climbing belt so that everything is nice and neat. Now let's tie in with our climbing line here. We'll find a suitable crotch up above me here. We'll show you one more time how to make this Blake's hitch, or the slipper knot. Slipper knot is what I've come to call it, but here it is again. We put our snap through with the right hand around our crotch, and here's our snap side coming down here. And we take the tail piece of our rope, lay it across the tail piece of our climbing line, and just go upward with our wraps 4 times. Come straight down over our snap piece there, around the back of our climbing line, and then we lift up our 2 bottom wraps, hold the top wrap, and pull the slack up through there. Now we always want to make sure that we test this knot before we put any body weight on it and expect it to hold us. You would do this with any knot. It's a good safety practice. But here it is. On our climbing line, we always use 4 wraps. On my flip line here, I use 3 wraps. It's more than enough friction for to hold you securely, because there's so much surface area that this small rope is grabbing on to the big one. So we'll just adjust this up here now. And as I explained before, I've come up with many different applications for this slip or knot, or the Blake's hitch. It can be used for rock climbing, ascending up ropes. It can be used for any number of little applications, but we're only concerned right now with the tree application of it. So that is the slip or knot. On the flip line, it's a very effective knot here to use. So I hope everybody has seen that. And I also want to explain another thing with my flip line here. A safety feature, I would call this, if I can get this where you can see it, is that the way I have my snaps hooked onto my D-ring when they're just hanging here, the snap that I never take undone unless I need to goes one way. The one I take off, put around the tree all the time, is snapped on the opposite direction, so that you don't, by mistake, take the wrong snap off and try to put it around the tree. It would seem kind of awkward because it has 2 lines on it here. So it's in a comfortable position to take off with my right hand with one hand and put it right around the tree. Now this climbing line, as I explained earlier, is about 10 feet long, so it can be used as a short climbing line, or a lanyard, you might call it. So if you did not want to put your main line in, you could just use this one to hold you for small trimming, or just short maneuvers around in a tree. So I hope that's very clear to you. It's a very simple application. We've just back braided this 3-strand rope onto our snaps, pulled it up tight on there. That's another thing I'd like to explain to you, is I always like to have my snaps solid or tightly woven back on a rope so that they don't flop around on the end of here. And we can grab this back braided part and we can clip it onto our belt very easily. It's not flopping around like you would when you have the little eyes put in through here. So that is our flip line now. Well, we're going to descend out of this tree now. with our main climbing line, and you can get a good idea how this is. But that's just about all for this part.